Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're going to work on a Subaru. But first we got to go get it. So what we're working on is my dad's Subaru Forester. I think it's an 04 or an 05. He told me the other day that he was driving along and the engine light came on and it started running rough. And then by the time he got home, the engine light went out and it was okay. So he was going to bring it up to my place yesterday and we were going to put my crappy scanner on it and see what we could find out. But he showed up with his pickup truck because yesterday the car wouldn't even start. So it's dead in his driveway. So, oh, look at the shit coming out of the back of this old Sunfire. Oh my God. It stinks too. Anyway, he took the scanner back to his place and couldn't really discern anything. He says it looks really strange. So, I don't know. I'm heading down there now. I've got, we're in the Ram 2500 today. And I got the float on the back of it there in case we got to tow it home. Because this all started, it was supposed to come to my house just to get 2 sway bar links changed. Now it's turned into something far more interesting. Anyway, you'll see it when we get there. Alright, well here we are waiting for the GO train, I guess. You can see out the back there, we got the Subaru loaded up. Ready to go back to the farm. So I went down there. It has no active codes. And it turns over. Oh shit, there's the train there. It turns over and it coughs and sputters, but it just won't like start. So we'll get her up to the farm and push it off into the shop and see what we can find out. At least my dad did have the factory service manual for it, so that'll make it a heck of a lot easier to diagnose the problem. Alright, oh, we're back home now. I'll use the winch and let gravity help us get the car off the trailer. This is a heavy little car. I was surprised what it weighs. Like, I don't know exactly numerically what it weighs, but I can feel it. It's got some good bulk to it. There she goes. So here's our Subaru 2.5 liter boxer engine. No turbo on this one. Let me grab the key and I'll show you what it's doing. Huh. Now the damn thing starts. No engine light. Running perfectly. Isn't that something? Does have kind of a stumble to it there, you know? Hear that? But look at that. Son of a gun, it's running. Now my dad said when it first did its thing, the engine light came on and the car went kind of nuts, you know, but isn't that weird? Well, I cleared the code. The code meant cylinder number 1 misfire. And I cleared it. I started it back up. I drove it around. The code never came back. I mean, for now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this car. I don't know what to fix because nothing's broken. Anyway, what I am going to do is I'm going to let it sit in here and cool off overnight. I do have to change the rear sway bar links tomorrow, and then I'll see tomorrow if she wants to start up, and we'll go from there, right? What else can you do? One of them weird things. Well, here we are. It's the next day. I'm going to go ahead, plug the scanner back in, and we'll see if we can start it up. Here goes nothing. Just like butter. No codes. The readies are still flashing, but it'll have to go through a drive cycle or two to get those all reset. I talked to my dad last night. We've decided to just do some basic stuff to it. I'm going to put a set of spark plugs in it because he thinks it's probably due for that. And on the off chance that it might have had some water or something in the fuel, I'm just going to pour a thing of gasoline antifreeze or some kind of fuel treatment product in it. There was a debate whether or not this car had a fuel filter that you could change under the hood, but apparently the last year for that was 04, and this is an 05. The fuel filter's in the tank, so we're not going to bother with that. So I'm going to head up and get some stuff at the store. Well, here we are. We've got all our supplies. These are the rear sway bar links, what it originally actually came here for. We got a new set of Sparky plugs for it, and a thing of mechanic in a can. We're going to throw in the gas tank just as a preventative thing in case maybe there was a little bit of water in it. Alrighty, I'm wondering if we may be onto something here now. First thing I had to do to get at these spark plugs on this bank, I don't know if it's 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, but that one's number 1, I'm pretty sure. You just take out 2 screws and get the washer jug out of the way, and it lets you get at the plugs here. First thing I noticed, the code that we were getting, 301, was for misfire, cylinder number 1, and when I pulled the high tension lead out of it, a whole bunch of oil came pouring out of there. So the drill tubes or the spark plug tubes, whatever you want to call them, are leaking. And that looks like a fun job. I don't know how you would even get the cylinder head cover off to get in there and try and fix that. But anyway, we're going to get the plugs changed and see what that all looks like. But I think we maybe have found the problem with the number 1 misfire. Alright, so we got our old spark plugs out. And here's the new ones, gapped properly at 44 thousandths of an inch. That they're good to go. The old ones you can see, here's the one that came out of number 1 that was giving us the misfire code. It's probably double that. It's probably getting close to 100 thousandths. The center electrode is all worn away. That's normal. That's how spark plugs wear out. And this one, the one from number 2 or number 3, however it's numbered, is not much better. So, we're going to put these new ones in, and then we'll see how it is. I'll fire it up before I take the other 2 out. Yeah. Alright, I've got the spark plugs on this side changed. I'm going to get my assistant, the lovely Deborah, to crank it up. And it should, I would guess the oil that was in the spark plug tube in number 1 all went down into the cylinder, so it'll probably let out a big puff of angry blue smoke when we start it up, but aside from that, it should be okay. All right, contact. Beautiful. It actually even started better. Yesterday it was taking a little bit of cranking to get it to kick to life, but that's pretty good. Okay, kill it. Thank you. All right, now we're going to change the other 2. But first, very important, it's lunchtime and we're having barbecued hot dogs, so nothing takes precedence over that. So here's the plugs on this side. You just have to pop the airbox out of the way. 2 little screws and it comes out. So we'll get these things. We'll get these things off. And man, they're really stuck in there. There we go. Bunch of oil in that one too. Get this one out. There we go. And oil in that one too. Now, I'm not a Subaru guy, so I'm not really sure how much is too much or if that's even normal. Maybe it's normal. Anyway, let's get the plugs out and see what they look like. So these ones are the same as the other side. The rear one is not so hot. And the front one is totally destroyed. So we've got our new ones in. We'll put everything back together and crank it up. Okay, let's see how she runs now. Oh, beautiful. The little off-idle stumble is completely gone. Yeah. This car needed a set of plugs in the worst way, I think. Anyway, that's good. We're going to consider the underhood portion of the program complete, and we're going to move to the rear suspension now. All right, so here we go. We've got it jacked up and on stands. Now, if you're working on one of these here Subarus, it's perfectly okay to use your hydraulic jack and jack it up by the rear diff, like we did here. Just make sure it's got the rubber insert in there in the saddle, or put a piece of wood in there. Just to, I believe this may be cast aluminum, or it may be cast iron, I don't know, but you don't want to break it. So anyway, what we've done, gone ahead and I used a wire brush and cleaned up these threads and sprayed some PB Blaster on it, and we'll let them sit for a minute. They don't look all that rusty. We may get lucky and get these things off. Also, good idea. We got the wheels off anyway. I'll pop the drums off and have a fast look at the brakes. All looks good. We'll put this drum back on and I'll pull the other one off. I won't show that side unless I find something wrong. Well, that was a noble hope, but no dice. So we're going to have to get the torch and zip these things off. No worries. Well, there's the old ones. The new ones now are installed. There are some differences I like about the new ones. Number one, on the back side here, they've got a square or a hex, so you can actually grab it with a wrench to make sure the nut is tight. Whereas those ones didn't. You need to put an Allen key in the end of it and turn the rest of it with a box or a ratchet wrench. They've also got a grease fitting in them. So I don't know if they'll ever get greased again, because people that service cars at service centers these days just aren't used to looking for grease fittings. But anyway, they're there if anybody wants to grease them. I shot some in just to give them a good start at life. So that's pretty good. We'll get the wheels back on, lower it down, and take it for a spin around the farm and see if the clunk in the rear end is gone. Alrighty, wheels are on and torqued. She's back on the floor. Last step, we're just going to dump a little thing of gasoline antifreeze in it, just to be 100% sure. There we go. That's it. Time for a road test. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Oh yeah, this thing is running peak. Let's wait for the scanner to get hooked up here. There we go. Is this your vehicle? 2005 Subaru? Yes, it is. Good. Oh, look at that. One of our monitors has gone green already, so we're just waiting on 4 now. Okay, let's get this thing out of here and do some field bombing. See if our clunky is gone. Oh wow, this car runs great. Yeah, back end's quiet as a mouse now. I noticed in the back a couple of bushings are kind of starting to spew in the lateral arms, but you'd have a real fun time getting the long tall bolts, we call them, out of the suspension upright to deal with that. So as long as they're not completely trashed, I think we're just going to leave them in there for now. But she's good and quiet. There's a little creaking and groaning coming from back there, but any long roof car with an independent suspension, you're going to hear some noise from the back because you're basically driving a big amplifier. Anyway, that's good. I'm going to go in and change my clothes and grab my wallet and stuff and take it for a good road test, put a few miles on it and make sure it's all good. But I'm pretty sure we've cured it. Those spark plugs were really, really bad. No engine light, no codes, no nothing. Okay, now we're going to go for a real road test on like the real road. See, when I get back, I can't have the phone in my hand while I'm on the road, or that's no good. I'll get in big doo-doo. Well, we're back for my little spin around the block. The car performed flawlessly. As you can see, one more monitor has gone green. We've only got 3 more, and I'm quite sure when I shut this and let it cool off overnight, when I come in the morning, they'll all be green. So that's it. I guess I can add fixing Subarus to our repertoire here at the Claremont Classic Garage. Now I'm going to tell you a story that fixing my dad's car brought back to me. And my dad will laugh his head off when I tell this story. Hang on, let me find a better place for this camera. When I was a kid, my great Uncle Gord was my dad's Uncle Gord. He was married to Aunt Lil, his mother's sister. Uncle Gord had a 66 or 67 Fairlane. I remember the car. It was a nice car. And maybe that's where I got my love of Fords from. I couldn't have been more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. I can remember coming down to our place when we first moved to West Hill, and that was, 1971, 70, in there somewhere. So Uncle Gord would come down and he'd bring his Fairlane and he'd tell my dad, he'd say, yeah, the car, it's kind of running a little, not so, great. Could you have a look at it? And my dad would say, yeah, no problem, Gord. And Gord and Lil, or Aunt Nan, we called her, would stay with my mom and have tea and crumpets or, whatever they did. And my dad would say to me, come on, kid, let's go. We got to fix Uncle Gord's car. And Uncle Gord's Fairlane would get what we call the Uncle Gord tune-up. And my dad would put me in this freaking car, and he'd get on the 401, and we'd go out to Bowmanville and back about 90 miles an hour. And when we got back, that car, man, you could stand a knitting needle on the hood while it was idle, and it was perfect. We never opened the hood, never done nothing. He'd go in and say, oh, Gord, your car's all fixed. We took it up to the garage, they turned this, and oh, great. Until next time, and then, a few weeks later, we'd have to go do another Uncle Gord tune-up. Those are the best. I don't know if the cars of today, you could fix them like that. But those old cars with the carburetors, they'd get all bunged up inside if they just, tooted around town and never really got warm. So they'd need sometimes a good blast on the highway to clean them out. But anyway, I'm giving the old Subaru here a clean bill of health. I'll take it back down to my dad tomorrow morning. And it can go back in service because, this is really actually my mom's car. And she needs it because she's got to go to Michael's and get her mom stuff. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for this episode of the Claremont Classic Garage. Down below, please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Leave a comment, share this video. All these things help us build our channel. I want to thank you all again for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. So long.